We're back. My name is Laura. Today we will be discussing the question, how long does it take to heal? I'm going to be looking at my husband because he's sitting over here recording this video, and he's going to answer this question for us. Honey, how long does it take to heal?
Honey, from your experience in working with the individuals that come to us for help, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it depends upon how old you are, because we've seen that younger individuals normally heal very quickly. It depends on how long the condition has been there and your belief system in life. What you think about things, what you believe about what happens in life in general. I think all those factors determine.
What do you mean by that when you say belief system in general, like in life? What do you mean by that?
For instance, the biggest example to use, cancer.
Okay.
People say as soon as you've got cancer, oh my gosh, it's such a long process. It's really hard to get rid of. You have to go through surgeries and it's all these different things take place. So automatically after hearing that for years, you've been programmed is someone's going to tell you you've got cancer. Oh my gosh, it's a big ordeal. It's going to take forever. And that's what your expectation now becomes because it's a belief system that you've developed in yourself. Mm-hmm. And that could be for any disease, diabetes or, those are the big ones.
Makes sense. That makes sense. So then that becomes a thought form.
Right.
A negative thought form that the person has created.
Correct.
For themselves, and that's not good.
That's correct.
Got it. Okay. You could end the video now. That sounds like a good answer to me. Now, so it really does depend.
It does.
To me, it depends on how long the situation has been around. To me, maybe it's not so much the age, even though we've been told that.
Right.
We've read that as well. Mm-hmm. But I think it has to do more with how long the situation has lingered. Let me tell you what I mean.
Okay.
Imagine yourself. Imagine a swimming pool.
Yes.
In one video we talked about a glass of water, right? Mm-hmm. But imagine here's a swimming pool. And normally, because swimming pools are man-made, they have all these connections and pipes, and water comes in through here, they drain it to another pipe, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Filters and stuff, yep.
That's correct. So now imagine that here's this beautiful swimming pool, clear water, and somehow dye got into the water. Dye that they don't want in there because it's not safe dye for the people.
Okay.
What's going to happen to the water? Let's say it's green dye, or let's say pink dye, just to make it ridiculous.
Well, either you'd have to get some kind of bleach product.
No. What's going to happen to the water?
What's going to happen to... Well, you already said it's not safe.
No. So here's a pink dye. It lands into the water. What happens to the water?
The water will be pink.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So you're giving me a solution already. I'm not asking for a solution. Right?
Not following the question very well.
Thank you. So the water becomes pink. Will anybody want to swim in that pool?
No.
So what do you need to do now?
Clean it.
Exactly. The safest thing to do is to clean it, right? Mm-hmm. What's the most optimal way to clean this pool at this time?
The fastest way or the best way would be to drain the whole thing and wash everything, optimal. Clean everything.
Exactly, right? So you want to clean it, correct? Uh-huh. So here you are, you're going to drain it. But along with this dye, because people have been swimming in the pool, there are pebbles in there. Kids like to throw little rocks, pebbles. Mm-hmm. They probably have some in there. Depending if they have trees nearby, their leaves in the water, right? Mm-hmm. Even though they're clean every day, but there might still be some at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So when you start to drain, what happens now? Some of those leaves can get stuck in the pipes.
Right.
Correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, some leaves are stuck in the pipes, or some pebbles are stuck in the filter. Mm-hmm. What happens to the draining that you're doing?
It gets clogged.
So what happens now?
Now you have to go and clean out the filter or take out the clog that might be in a pipe.
Takes longer, right?
Yes.
I believe it's the same thing with people that are being healed. Depending on what's going on with them, they can also have clogs. Right? So here we are, one thing is being handled, but because there are other things causing clogs over here, or who knows what else that's going on with the person, those have to be taken care of as well. So until those things are taken care of, the healing process is not complete. Everything is delayed. Does that make sense?
Yes. So initially you might see some instant results, but then because of all the other challenges that are underneath what's happening, it will take a little bit longer.
That's correct. You know? So somebody, and people like to compare. And that's the one thing we always try to let individuals know. Don't compare your situation with someone else's, right? Because your situation is different. But they'll compare. So when you worked with that person, and that's why we try not to tell stories, right? Because we don't want people to have false expectations. Exactly. So, but that person got healed in 2 days, or they might say in an hour. The moment you send the message, they're already feeling great and they're fine ever since. Well, they didn't have a lot of pipes that got clogged,
or filters that needed cleaning,
or they didn't have a lot of leaves to get stuck in the pipes,
right?
Or they didn't have too many pebbles that created havoc on the pipes or the filters. Make sense?
Right. They didn't require as much repair as another individual.
I like that. They didn't require as much repair. Because that's what we're doing. We're repairing things.
Exactly. Repairing the body.
And that's the bottom line. Now, while the healing is taking place, another thing that folks don't realize is this, and this is also tied to clearings. The reason why someone gets an illness is because normally the aura has been, let's say, affected in a negative way.
Okay.
Right? Because everything starts in a spiritual realm. By the time someone feels a disease in the physical, it's because it's been in the spiritual for a long time. And folks don't realize that. They're thinking, well, I just got this, whatever the illness is, so it hasn't been with me a long time. So what do you mean? It's taken long because I've had this disease or this condition for a long time. They just diagnosed me with this. Well, yes, on the physical plane, they just diagnosed you. But how long has it been in the spiritual realm?
Good question.
Before it showed up in the physical. So we should always think about the spiritual aspect, because when we talk, we're talking about the spiritual aspect. All right?
Right.
And our job then is to do our best to catch things in the spiritual aspect, in the spiritual realm, before they hit the physical. I believe that someone that heals very quickly is someone who was being affected by a condition that hadn't hit the physical yet.
Oh.
You see, they're already feeling the effects. It's close to the physical layer or the physical part of the aura. You know, there are different layers of the aura, right?
I know that, yes.
And you know the one that's closest to us is the physical one.
Right.
So imagine it has to go through all those layers of aura and finally hits the physical. Well, when it gets there, what happens to all these auras? They've been breached. So what do we have to do? We have to go
repair
all those layers of aura first before we get to this part. And that's where in the beginning I was making some mistakes, because I kept focusing on the physical part, and then we'd see that they weren't healing very quickly because these different levels of aura weren't being healed.
There was still the breach was still there.
That's correct.
Even though you seal off the physical side, the rest of it was still happening.
Which means that it's still not healed.
Right.
If the spiritual side isn't healed, the physical will never heal.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on an infected wound.
That's
if you
correct.
don't treat the wound and go all the way down and get everything that's affecting it, it's not going to be healed.
Yeah. So what do we need to do? We work on the spiritual side first, and then from there come all the way down to the physical. And there are many times by the time we're done with the spiritual, the physical is already healed, because the spiritual side, when that heals, it heals the physical anyway. So, bottom line is, it takes time depending on how much work has to be done, or how much damage has been done to that person's either spiritual body or physical body. The more pebbles or leaves that are there that are clogging up pipes, then the more work that has to be done, more cleanup work that has to be done. So it takes longer.
Or holes that have to be closed.
You have
Okay.
anything else to add to that?
No, I think that answers the question about how long it takes for healing work to take effect. So, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.